Good afternoon. I'm Mike Feeken, Strategic Partnerships Advisor at First Five Nebraska. Welcome to Economic Development for Early Childhood. Today, we're diving deep into LB840, Local Option Municipal Economic Development Funds. You may have seen our first video in the series, Understanding LB840. Today, we're speaking with Milva McGhee, the Early Childhood Community Coordinator at the McCook Economic Development Corporation. McCook has successfully leveraged local option municipal economic development funds to grow capacity and support the early childhood workforce in their community. Milva, if you would like to tell us a little bit kind of about yourself, like what exactly is your role in the community and how does early childhood fit in with your role?
I actually lived in Nebraska for less than 2 years now. We moved here June 5th, 2020. My husband had got a job at the community college. And so, I was the trailing spouse. And one of the first people we met when we came to McCook, like that Monday, was Andy Long. So he told me he would have a position opening up soon. So, to be on the lookout for it in the newspaper. So sure enough, I think late October, they posted it. And I applied and I received it in December of 2020. So my role in the community is that I get to go out and meet with some incredible people who are childcare providers here in McCook, Red Willow County.
So Milva, what impact does early childhood care and education have on business growth, economic development, and quality of life in McCook and Red Willow County?
It's one of the cornerstones, especially when you look at people who move here. One of the first things, if they've got young kids, they look at where they can live, where they can have children in childcare facilities that they feel comfortable with and that the children will be safe with.
How did McCook learn about utilizing Local Option Municipal Economic Development Act, known as LB840, and how you could use LB840 dollars as an option to fund early childhood projects?
Former Economic Development Corporation director, when this was released to use LB840 for childcare, brought it before City Council, and it didn't have to go out for a vote since the language was already there, and they could use that money. Got approval to use that money for childcare.
Talk a little bit about what each kind of project or portion of your program, like what are the different programs?
When it was identified that money could be used for childcare, they went out to the community and asked, what do you need? Because they had the idea that, maybe we need another center built. However, a lot of the feedback they got is like, we like our in-home providers. Is there a way to help them create spots for infants? They also talked to the providers and said, yes, we do not make as much money with infants because they're so hands-on that, if we have one infant, we can have 4 toddlers, but if, we have 2 infants, that cuts back on the number of toddlers, which affects their ability, to bring income in. So one of the things we did was infant incentives so that they have the ability to expand infant spots. So one of the things is for in-home, if they could take it from 1 to 3 infants, and then also with centers, take it from, if they had maybe 1 or 2 infants to up to 5 infants, we will help support them financially with the infants. So we have actually we have 2 centers and 3 in-homes that are taking advantage of that program and that we support. So recently, this past December, we did have a center to close. So because the other places were taking advantage of this, using this program to their advantage, when that center closed, it was 26 kids that had, their parents had to find a place in like 30 to 40 days for those children to go to. A few days before Christmas, they were closing to the parents. And so, fortunately, we had 2 other centers that, have been working with us with the incentive program, and they both had received expansion grants for their centers, and they were able to take 25 of the 26 kids that were going to be displaced.
as you've been going through the programs, can you talk a little bit about the process? So, and maybe how that's evolved. So, has it been the Economic Development Corporation reaching out to providers initially, and now have you seen it where providers are coming to you looking for answers, or maybe just talk a little bit about that?
At first, it was the Economic Development Corporation going out and talking to providers, talking to community folks as well as business leaders. And so they had opportunity for this position of the early childhood community coordinator. So it's been me going out and building those relationships with the providers, finding out different things we can do to support them, even if it's not with money, but just supplies.
What has been the reaction from other stakeholders or community groups or businesses? Have you seen a change in maybe how they think or talk about childcare?
I've seen a change in the providers. Those who work with me, work with the EDC, they're the ones asking, this is what I'm looking at doing. Is this something that you can support through one of the initiatives you offer? Yes, we can, or no, we can't. However, let's look at this avenue. So we have those 3 to 5 who are actively involved. Anytime I call and I ask what's going on, they're giving me a laundry list of what's going on great with their businesses, which is great to hear. Then I have, before I started, there was one preschool program that was Step Up to Quality affiliated. Now we have 5, 3 in-home, 4 in-home and 1 center that are all Step Up to Quality. And 2 of my in-home folks have now reached level 2.
That's fantastic. So we've covered part of the economic development program, the initiative for increasing the amount of capacity for infant spots. What other types of programs, I guess, are out of the LB840 that help address workforce?
One of the things they had started was a scholarship program. The first year we had 1 student to apply and actually take us up on that. And they should be completing their 2nd year in early childhood at the local community college. However, we've not had any additional takers. So I'm wondering if it's just, again, because what's going on with the pandemic still lingering, as well as, everybody's looking for help. So, you have people who love to work with children, but the pay scale is not there, and the benefits. Either they can work for a school district and get more than they can working with our early childhood programs. And so the disparity of what they make as an early childhood educator versus working for a school district is wide.
What types of challenges have you encountered with the programs? And I guess, how are your thoughts on overcoming those challenges?
One of the challenges right off the bat was me still being new to the community. So that's why it was important for me to get out and introduce myself. People open the door and look, it's like, oh yeah, Milva McGhee, share what I do as an early childhood community coordinator with the position, and ask the question, how can I support you? One of the things we did last year around this time was that we created signs, for our childcare providers that they're community heroes. And we made sure that I went with a core team member and we gave it to every provider. No provider turned that down. So there was a yard sign, just saluting them as community heroes and essential workers. And you saw them posted on the lawns of both the centers as well as the in-homes. They really appreciated that. So just showing that they are an essential part of the community, that going out, visiting them in their space, because a lot of them, unless you're dropping the children out, nobody visits them in their space. So going out, sharing that, yard sign is just one step, but just sharing with them how much we appreciate them and let them know, we're here to listen and be as supportive as we can.
What do you recommend for folks wanting to get more involved with early childhood education?
having the conversations. It, you may have these great ideas of, this is what we need. Have the conversations with the providers as well as the parents.
Is there anything that has been shocking to you or surprising to you about your work right now with the intersection of economic development and early childhood education?
It's the self-esteem of the providers as well as educating parents what these providers actually make. Because if some of these people did not have a partner or someone else in that household bringing in a full-time income with benefits, some of these, they wouldn't be able to do this. When you break down how much contact time they have with the kids and what they're getting paid an hour, they're getting paid less than $3, $5 an hour. And you see people able to go to McDonald's and make $15 an hour. We say that our kids are our most important investments, but how are we showing that with what we're paying people to have high contact and high quality time with these young kids?
So through all the different types of feedback that you have received and the folks that have gone through gone through the initiatives of your 840 programs, are there new programs that you're going to be trying, or different initiatives that you think would be helpful through LB840 economic development program?
Fortunately, we just had a new provider open up, get licensed for children, and she's 24 hours. When you think about it, she's one of only 2 providers who even advertise that they're willing to take on kids overnight. So when you think about hospital workers and our shift workers at the police station or whatnot, there's no one outside of these 1 to possibly 2 providers who offer overnight care for shift workers. So addressing, the care that, our second and third shift workers don't have for their kids unless they've got a network of people in their circle who are able to help in that manner. So that is one thing we're still looking at, is how we are able to maybe encourage and support other providers who may be thinking about offering second or third shift workers childcare.
Well, so thank you very much, Milva. I really appreciated all of your insights and everything that you provided to us for economic development funding through LB840 for McCook. And so again, just really appreciate all your time and efforts, and I guess we'll end it there.
Thank you, Mike, and I appreciate everything all of you do also. Have a great one.
All right. Thanks a lot.